to the Kent Lapp Podcast.
You put a lot of time and effort into exercise and keeping your body healthy and all of that. So sometimes, I don't know that this is quite as popular as it used to be. Maybe I feel like hopefully it's not, but I feel like there sometimes is still this sentiment that, there's a verse that talks about, working on this is butchering it, but like working on your body is good, but
Timothy,
bodily
exercises of some gain.
Yes, but
godliness and holiness is of gain in this life and life to come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
1 Timothy 4:8.
There you go.
Okay, yes. Do you have the verse there or no? Can you read it?
I do. Well, I have it in my notes. Let me pull it up real quick.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. He knows what we're talking about. My point is that it seems like sometimes in Christian circles, the value that's put on physical health is less than
And that's
non-Christian
the word they use
circles.
is value. Yeah, that's the word that ESV use, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, exercise of some value.
Yeah. So, which I think is unfortunate that sometimes as Christian people, we kind of poo-poo the value of physical health and all of that. But I'm curious to hear you talk to it. Why do you spend so much time and effort, trying to stay decently in shape? What is the value there from a kind of from a Christian worldview? How do you look at that?
Yeah. It is something I've been pursuing since 2016. July 8th, I believe, 2016 is when I decided to pursue better health. I was 300 plus. The highest I ever weighed was 310, I believe, in 10th grade.
In 10th grade?
Yeah. I was 119 and entering into third grade. Always a really big kid.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is your brother and your dad big too?
No, my dad. Well, my dad's he's got a strong build.
Okay.
He played football at App State. My brother is, he could swing from trees. He can jump. He pole vaulted.
Wow.
In NCAA school. Never did that until he got to college and was running. And the track coach recruited him, said, "You want to pole vault?" He's never done it, and then he ended up getting some awards in the Big South Conference. But anyway, they're not big. I was by far the biggest in my family. And to be clear, the fattest is what I mean by biggest, not strongest. But yeah, I just knew it wasn't. Here's where it came from. In 2014, I started reading through the Bible every year. And so 2016, July, was 2.5 years into this thing. And the way I see it is the Word was just beginning to highlight certain things along the way. And that was one of them. I preached to the city of Nashville. I preached at downtown Nashville, Tennessee. And we've got skeptics and agnostics and seekers and those who have been wounded by pastors and churches that gathered at our church. And it's got to be troubling for them, for me, for a pastor to be talking about a particular issue to be repented of, a sin to be repented of. When here I am on stage at 300 pounds, pounding, fried chicken, not caring about the sin of gluttony, but I'm definitely going to be concerned about their sin in this sermon. That's got to be troubling and confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And as it should be. They're doing intellectual work. They're discerning, right? And I wanted to be better qualified for preaching and pastoring. I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to live longer, right? I want to be in heaven, but I want to be here as long as God wants me here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be an unhealthy example or a sick or unhealthy grandparent not able to enjoy preaching the gospel in front of my grandkids and great-grandkids. I want to know my great-grandkids, my grandfather, he passed away in January of this year, and he was 87.
Your grandfather?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he was able to know his great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
You know, he had an 18-year-old great grandson.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating, you know, but it's because he was a healthy man, and he's why I take vitamins.
Oh, wow.
He's why I take multiple fiber supplements every day. He's the one why I take all the vitamins that I take. I try to implement as much as he did. I try to do, because he lived full of years, happy. He lived full of knowledge. His brain was with him until it was with the Lord.
Wow.
And 87 years old. He never weighed more than 218 as an adult. Never weighed less than 214. He always tried to be 215. Yeah, and so it was always a matter of control for him, self-control. And there was nothing off limits. He would eat and enjoy anything and everything, but he would make sure that his weight stayed around 215. And so just trying to model that, mirror that. Our bodies are a lot alike, and so I'm thinking, man, if he was zoned in at 215, and that was what he felt like was healthy, and he lived all this time, you know, and he was an athlete, played pro baseball, like he's an awesome guy. But I have a bigger build than him. I'm an inch and a half taller than him, and I've got a lot more muscle because he didn't work out, you know. There was very little working out in baseball in the 50s.
Sure.
So very little. There's much more of drinking this than working out baseball in the 50s. And it's how he got a lot of his money was through liquor.
What do you mean through liquor?
Well, he was just paid in meals.
Sponsorships?
And because, you know, back then you had like leagues. Instead of like minor league, it was just you had like Triad League, Carolina League,
Oh, okay.
Tennessee, Kentucky League. And then so it was basically this local ball until the majors.
Gotcha.
And so he ended up signing with the Phillies, but he played mostly Carolina League. He could hit some dingers, though, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he has one. The Charlotte Observer marked it at 595 feet.
Holy moly.
I believe the longest one's 601 feet, the longest home run.
That's
ever.
out there, man.
Yeah.
That is out there.
Yeah. So,
I mean, you picture a Major League Baseball stadium with like 450 feet. That's pretty common to the fence, right?
no, well, like 350, 330.
Is it just 350, 330?
360?
I thought that was more like softball, but
No, I mean, it's they vary.
Dang, that's so far.
Yeah.
Golly.
I'd say 400. There might be some fields that are deeper. Maybe just a little bit.
I feel like the Yankees had at least part of their field was up to close to 400, but
the corners is where it usually pulls in a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and I had old guys talking about him, telling me stories about him because they watched him play ball and stuff.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Fascinating memories that I have. But yeah, he pursued health, and so that made a big impact on me to see him live as long as he did, and try to emulate some of the things that he did. And then the disqualifying factor. I just didn't want people I didn't want to present a stumbling block of other than the gospel. And I felt like my weight was a stumbling block. And now I love to help pastors who might even be hearing this and they're just like, wow, that resonates. Like, I don't want to do that either. I love helping pastors figure this thing out, training them and encouraging them, coaching them along the way. Because I feel like if I could change, anybody could change. If I could get in shape, anybody can.
Yeah.
You know,
well, if that's how you feel, that's very hopeful for other people. I mean, that's
Sure.
the message someone wants to hear if they're dealing with a particular thing and trying to change, is for someone that feels like, hey, if I can do it, you can too.
Yeah.
How do you help pastors through? Like, where do you start? You start diet, you start exercise. What are some of your recommendations?
Read the Bible every day. There's most pastors don't read the Bible except for sermons. And so I encourage them to get to reading the Bible every day because I feel like my change in health flowed from my spiritual health. My physical health flowed from my spiritual health.
And that's interesting because that's going exactly against what I was saying with some of this cultural Christianity thing with like kind of poo-pooing health. So maybe that's more of a nominal Christian. Maybe that's a misunderstanding of the scripture, not a thorough understanding of the scripture. So when you actually get in the word, then it's interesting for you. Getting in the word prompted that physical health.
For sure. And, to be clear, when Paul told Timothy, he said bodily exercise has value. Like, he didn't say it's stupid.
Yeah.
He didn't say don't do it. He didn't say it's ridiculous compared to this. He says, no, it's got its place.
Yep.
And so that should, if anything, that should pull us in to be more active. It shouldn't be like, well, he just said it's a, kind of non-consequential. Let's just move on.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what he said. He said it's a value. So I think that's important. But yeah, I start with reading the Bible every day as like, here's what if you're not doing that, I really don't know how to help you. If you're not willing to pursue the Lord, I mean, there's so much that he does in your heart, because for me, food was an idol. It wasn't a mere habit. And so I had to have my heart addressed, and that came through the Word. And this is hindsight now. I didn't know it, but this is how the Spirit was working in my life. So when I look back at this, I can see that. But in the middle of it, I was just reading my Bible, and I just started caring about what foods I ate. I didn't even know there was a correlation there.
Mm-hmm. Was it an idol or an escape?
Both. I think a lot of idols are escapes.
Yeah.
But it was I love flavor. I love being full. I love abundance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like ever being hungry. So I would go to it as a way of coping, but also just enjoying the pleasure. Eat, drink today, be merry. A lot of that, but starting with Scripture, leading to making better choices as I saw that it was an idol in my heart, and running to Jesus in those moments and reminding myself of my gospel identity provided through the finished work of Jesus, and who God says I am and what he has for me, and how what he has is so much better than anything I'll ever find in food. And what it did is it freed me to enjoy food instead of worship it. And so I saw it as just fuel. Food is just fuel, right? So when you eat a meal, all it is supposed to do, like scientifically perhaps, you could say it is, the only thing it has to do is energize you, fuel you, supply your body with nutrients for you to thrive for the next 6 to 8 hours. That's all it is. We make it a lot more than that. I was making it much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It was my fulfillment, not just fuel, right? And so I was going after it for something that it was never intended to give me.
Yeah.
So of course it led to unhealth. Of course it led to abusing food by just hurting myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, man, I've been dieting since Tommy Lasorda told me to, through a commercial, to take Slim Fast in like 85. I was second grade on Slim Fast.
Oh, wow.
Because back then you couldn't play football if you weighed more than 109. And so I got down to like 112, and I couldn't play football. I remember the coach telling my dad, well, your son can play for the junior high. I just left second grade. But I was weighing the average. I weighed as much as the average seventh grader.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, I'm done with football till, junior high, because I'm not going to play with those big guys, even though I was their size.
Yeah. Now, is that because you were eating too much or the wrong kinds of foods back then, or was that just your body?
I was not aware of any wisdom in food selection.
Okay, so you're eating whatever you wanted doing Slim Fast.
When I did Slim Fast, I did begin to try to make better food choices according to what Slim Fast said was supposed to work.
But it wasn't working, or you didn't start soon enough?
Right. It didn't start soon enough, I believe, because I went from like 119 down to 112, and it just didn't work. But so I started exercising in 2016 a lot, and started watching my foods. Each time I would order food or prepare food, I tried to use smaller plates, and I call it gospeling myself before I would order, and reminding myself, Jeremy, all you have to do is supply enough food to get by. That's all you got to do. Mm-hmm. There's another meal coming, bro. You don't have to get it all right here. Just get enough. And so instead of me spending $15 for myself at Chick-fil-A, I was back to spending, $5. Mm-hmm. So it saved a lot of money. Or actually that money transferred to supplements. Sure. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like vitamins and things.
Yep.
Not steroids. Supplements, when you're talking health, can imply a lot of other things. But I noticed for me, and everybody's different. And so as I thought about my weight loss journey, because leaving my junior year of high school into my senior year of high school, I dropped 115 pounds in those 3 months as a radical weight loss. And I had a lot of fun after that. I could dunk a basketball. I could slide into second base.
Wow.
I made it to second base. It was awesome, man.
Yeah. 115 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah. And that was
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
7 liters of water and 1 fig Newton. And working 8 to 9 hours a day in a greenhouse at 132 controlled temperature, high humidity room.
Jeepers.
And then come home and play ball for 3 hours. That's how I did it.
Dang. That'll do it.
And everybody says, most people that I talk to, they're like, man, that's not healthy. I'm like, well, neither's being 315 pounds.
Yeah.
But along the way, man, I've been on so many fad diets. I mean, honestly, if you mention it, like I've done it,
Mm-hmm.
and I've lost weight on it, but it's not sustainable because I was trying to find a fix without going to what could actually fix it, right? And I never went to the heart. I was just thinking about the stomach, and it's a heart issue. Most things are. But I realized that I just try to think through my body type and understand kind of how I lost weight. Like, what was it about those different fad diets that helped me lose weight? And none of them required much moderation. Most of them said, eat whatever off this list. And so I would just consume thousands of calories off that list. And that's not how you lose weight sustainably.
Makes sense. Yep.
So I realized I just needed to cut grains, like breads, carbs, complex carbs, and like noodles, pasta, things like that. And dairy, I had to cut dairy down. And I had to cut, what was the other one? Dairy, grain, and I want to say sugar. Any other form of sugar. And other than natural, like apples and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like cereal, that's grain, dairy, and sugar.
Yeah, no pasta.
Right. But now, here's the thing. I can eat anything. And I've been doing this for 5 years. And so it's like it's been proven, like through my experience, that this actually works. But it's just limiting. It's learning to limit and discern what you eat. Again, it goes back to how we started with self-control.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you a list to say, eat whatever you want to off this list. Just stay away from this list. Right? Cancel culture type of idea. Instead, I'm like, no, we're going to learn self-control here. I'm going to help disciple you. When you go out to eat, your family's doing pizza, order a side salad, use oil and vinegar, no more than a tablespoon of vinegar or of oil. Throw some salt and pepper, some seasoning, see if they got other flavors in the back of some dry rub stuff you can use, and mix it up. Let it be a delicious side salad or a full salad, and then get some chicken wings. Get 8, 10 chicken wings. You don't need the ranch, and enjoy that, man. And if you want a piece of pizza, take a piece of pizza, usually cut it in half, or since I'm only eating one piece of pizza, I'll cut off and eat the heart of that slice of pizza, like to the point. It's like the most beautiful part of the pizza.
Okay.
and
you'll just eat that?
I'll just enjoy
and not
that
the rest of the
pizza.
piece.
Right.
Okay.
Or 3 or 4 pieces like I used to, and the wings and the salad and everything doused in ranch.
Yeah.
And so I can eat whatever I want to eat. I lost, when I went through most of my weight loss, I was eating ice cream every night. But it was just like a teaspoon of ice cream. But I learned to enjoy ice cream instead of just by habit having that cold, creamy taste satisfy me at night. Instead, it was just, let me enjoy this and just a little bit.
I see.
And so I can eat whatever. It's just using
now,
wisdom and moderation and self-control.
I see. So currently you'll eat whatever.
Yeah.
You're just going to use wisdom and moderation and self-control. Yeah. So when you cut out the grains.
Or limit.
Sure.
Limit grains.
Okay.
Limit dairy.
Okay. So you still limit those things.
Absolutely.
And then more than protein or some other things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Throw down on protein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So currently, do you eat until you're full with protein, or you have a certain daily calorie count that you want to stay under?
I don't think calorie count personally. Part of that is because I burn so much in my workouts that I would have to be really foolish to eat more than I burn.
Yeah.
because I burn a lot of calories.
Okay.
But I still I don't try to eat till I'm full.
Mm-hmm.
I just eat till when it's enough. And there's times where I'll be like, man, I've been drifting for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I've been hammering it, and I've expanded my stomach, and I've noticed I've been eating more. I've been going back for seconds. Seconds is usually, if you go back for seconds, that's a sign that you need to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that if you're going to go back for seconds out of a habit, then always start out with a much smaller plate and then go back for seconds.
I see. Yep.
It's a psychological thing as much as anything, really.
Yep. How much would you say of you staying healthy now, getting to a better weight, how much would you say is diet and how much would you say is exercise, or is it just 100% for both?
I think one feeds into the other.
I agree with that.
I think they're both very important.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say 50-50 if you want to do that.
Yep.
When you're working out, you don't want to go mess up your workout by eating
for sure
4 pieces of pizza.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep. And then if you're eating healthy, you want to capitalize on that by having a great workout. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if I'm going to exercise self-control and work out and eat really healthy today.
Yep.
I want to get in a good workout to where I burn that much more.
Yep.
And I get to get stronger. So it begins to feed
It
each
totally
other.
feeds that into each other for me too.